Hey everybody, I'm Gorham, and today I want to encourage you all to be thankful for God as Son. And to start, I'd like to try to get you all to think about a time before you knew Jesus. I imagine for some of you that might take you back to your childhood, and it might be difficult to imagine a time before you knew Jesus. But also, I think maybe for some of you, thinking back to that time might be more recent than that. But I ask you to reflect on in that time what your impression of God was before you knew Jesus. I know for me, when I think back to my childhood and my understanding and my experience of what God was like, I have really vivid memories of imagining God the Father as this kind of faraway being, um, someone not close to us here on earth. I think God for me was unapproachable or authoritarian, someone that should be feared. And I remember thinking, I better make sure I follow the rules and do things correctly. And I really imagine my understanding of God in this way came from our inconsistent church attendance growing up, or the kind of formal liturgy that I experienced when we did attend church. As a teen, though, I was introduced to God as Son. And for me, knowing Jesus has forever changed my understanding of God the Father. And as John 3:16 explains, a verse we're all likely familiar with, the Message translation says, "This is how much God loved the world. He gave his Son, his one and only Son. And this is why, so that no one need be destroyed. By believing in him, anyone can have a whole and lasting life. God didn't go to all the trouble of sending his Son merely to point an accusing finger, telling the world how bad it was. He came to help, to put the world right again. Anyone who trusts in him is acquitted." So you see, God sent his Son Jesus in an act of love, for his children. And God understands that we are flawed humans and we need Jesus. We need an example of God in human flesh. We need the example of Jesus's actions, his example of prayer to the Father, his faithfulness to the Father. We need to understand who Jesus healed. We need to understand who he was most concerned for, who he was willing to confront, and his compassion and love for those the world often overlooked. Jesus shows us how to live a life of righteousness, how to live a life that reconciles us to the Father. So how thankful we should all be for the example of Jesus, the example of God as Son. I hope today in the 40 days of prayer blesses you and encourages you to be thankful for God as Son, thankful for Jesus. Hope you all have a great day. Take care.